Hi again, everyone. It's been a while. Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football, firing back the live stream, hoping to get some chat drummed up a little bit on a Friday afternoon with a batch of spring football games on tap for Saturday. The highlight would be Alabama and Georgia back to back on ESPN at 2 and 4 Eastern Time. Of course, subscribe to my YouTube channel. We consider it the best college football talk that you'll find anywhere, considering the diversity of opinion and the reports from all over the country from the best bloggers and broadcasters and writers in the business. Yesterday, we talked tons of Tennessee with Charlie Burris from the Orange and White Report, and also John Bryce joined us from Gridiron Now to talk the Vols as Jeremy Pruitt hits the field with his Orange and White team in Neyland Stadium on Saturday. We also talked some Ohio State football with Steve Hillwagon from 247 Sports and Bucknuts as the Buckeyes concluded their spring sessions last Saturday with the Scarlet and Gray, and much to talk about concerning the quarterback position, of course, with Dwayne Haskins going up against Joe Burrow and Tate Martell, even with a bit of a shot coming into his second season from Bishop Gorman in Las Vegas. We also talked some UCLA football. The Bruins finishing up their spring work this Saturday, not at the Rose Bowl, but at a campus soccer field. Not necessarily the interest or the hype surrounding the UCLA spring game, but important nonetheless in determining their position battles for this fall as well. As I fire up the live stream to see who may be on board to talk some college football. We've got, of course, the NFL draft coming up next week, starting on Thursday night, and the pecking order of quarterbacks with 4 of them in the mix, along with Bradley Chubb and Saquon Barkley and Denzel Ward and some of the other top players in college football. And who's going to be selected there. In the previous live stream, I started to look at my listings of the schools that produce the best NFL players and the most NFL players. And I'm not going to run through the names right this second. If you want to check out some of the names that I listed, you can check out the previous live stream. But I went through and to make a top 25 list of the schools that produce the best and the most NFL talent currently. Cal really surprised me with 32 NFL players currently on rosters, and the quality of the players exceptional as well. Aaron Rodgers being the top of the list. Alabama, of course, checks in, as does Auburn. Clemson, we didn't talk about previously, but with Vic Beasley, Martavis Bryant, DeAndre Hopkins, Adam Humphries, Grady Jarrett, Shaq Lawson, Deshaun Watson just starting his career, Mike Williams, and Sammy Watkins, Clemson, well represented in the professional ranks with 33 players. Let's see who else we have from the ACC. Of course, Florida State, they check in with 43 NFL players currently. Kelvin Benjamin. You got Ronald Darby, Devontae Freeman, excellent back with the Atlanta Falcons, 2 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. Graham Gano, the kicker for the Panthers. Sebastian Janikowski, of course, Florida State, longtime kicker, 17 years in the NFL. LaMarcus Joyner, Jalen Ramsey, Xavier Rhodes, the defensive backfield, well stocked at Florida State. Chris Thompson, Jameis Winston, of course, at quarterback for Tampa Bay. Has thrown for 4,000 yards the last 2 years. Elsewhere in the ACC, Miami, 48 players. And, of course, the Hurricanes could vie for the best producing school in the modern era. They would probably take that title. But currently, who do they have? Travis Benjamin with the Chargers, Artie Burns with Pittsburgh, Kalis Campbell, Frank Gore, of course, very accomplished, 14,000-yard rusher, number 5 all-time. Jimmy Graham, great career he's had now with the Seahawks. You've got Alan Hearns and Duke Johnson had a nice season with the Browns last year with 74 receptions. David Njoku also with the Brownies. Lamar Miller, Greg Olson. All right. Also from the ACC, we have. I've got to think somebody else is going to jump in to our rankings from the ACC. Maybe not. Maybe that's the end of the line. ACC. Here's an interesting list for you. Not going to consider Notre Dame like some do as part of the ACC. They are not. Wisconsin, 26 players in the NFL from the Badgers. That's not a whole lot, but the quality of these players is astounding. Melvin Gordon, Joe Schobert, a top linebacker, Joe Thomas, who's now retired, but I had him on the list as I compiled this a couple months ago. J.J. Watt, James White, Russell Wilson, Corey Clement, who scored in the Super Bowl this past year, Derek Watt, J.J. Watt's brother, James White, really good list from Wisconsin in particular. I'm going to run down the Big Ten, and if nobody jumps on the chat, then we're going to wrap it up right there. But let's look at the Big Ten producing NFL players. We just ran down Wisconsin. Of course, Ohio State's going to jump up here. But before we get to the Buckeyes, Penn State at 31 current NFL players. Navarro Bowman, 8-year career, linebacker for the Raiders, 14 career sacks, 585 total tackles. Sam Ficken with the Los Angeles Rams. Robbie Gould, another kicker produced by Penn State, a really good one. Number one all time in career field goal percentage. Number one all time. Tamba Hali, 12-year career with the Kansas City Chiefs, 5 Pro Bowls, 89 sacks. Jesse James, he of the infamous catch or no catch play against the Patriots this year, did catch 43 other passes. Maybe he caught 44 and 4 touchdowns, but the record would show 43 and 3 touchdowns. Sean Lee, Dallas Cowboys linebacker, 8-year career. Excuse me, Paul Posluszny with the Jacksonville Jaguars with almost 900 career tackles, 16 sacks, 15 picks. Allen Robinson, top-notch receiver with the Jacksonville Jaguars. I believe he's now moving on. Somebody else picked him up. Maybe he went to Chicago. Allen Robinson, who had 14 touchdowns a couple years ago in 2015. Cameron Wake, Miami, 9-year career, 92 sacks, 3-time finishing in the top 10 in the league in sacks. All right, elsewhere out of the Big Ten. Ohio State. Here's the list. 42 players. Von Bell, Joey Bosa. Got Kurt Coleman, Taylor Decker, Pat Elflein, Ezekiel Elliott, Rookie of the Year. Teddy Ginn just keeps going and going and going and going. Carlos Hyde now with the Cleveland Browns. Malcolm Jenkins, a top defensive back, of course, with the Eagles, just won a Super Bowl. Marcus Lattimore, Darren Lee, Corey Linsley, Mike Nugent, Terrell Pryor, Ryan Shazier. Unfortunately injured, and good to see him at the spring game. And Michael Thomas, who had an exceptional career thus far, off to a great start with the New Orleans Saints. Elsewhere in the Big Ten, Michigan State with 28 players currently in the NFL, and it's a mighty impressive list, headlined by Le'Veon Bell, Jack Conklin, a Pro Bowler 2 years ago, Kirk Cousins, who just made a ton of money, of course, with the Kansas City Chiefs, number one completion percentage in 2015, 100 career touchdown passes. Darqueze Dennard, a first-round pick in 2014. Brian Hoyer, Drew Stanton, Trey Waynes. Nebraska, good list here. 28 current NFL players, and Scott Frost would like to get the assembly line cranking once again. Amir Abdullah, Prince Amukamara, Rex Burkhead, we saw him show up with the Patriots in the playoffs after 5 years with the Bengals. He has scored 12 touchdowns in his career. Malik Collins, good defensive tackle for the Cowboys. Levante David, 91 career starts with Tampa. Randy Gregory, Dallas Cowboys. Richie Incognito, 12-year career with Buffalo. Sam Cook, tremendous all-time punter, 12 years with the Baltimore Ravens and a Super Bowl. And that's the basic list for Nebraska. Niles Paul and Ndamukong Suh, of course, maybe the greatest Nebraska Cornhusker on the defensive side ever. And Michigan, 33 players. The Michigan list isn't as impressive as the number of 33, but it does start with Tom Brady. That's not bad. Devin Funchess, who had a nice year with the Panthers. Brandon Graham, 54 starts career. Taylor Lewan. Jordan Lewis, rookie year with the Dallas Cowboys, had 48 tackles. Jabril Peppers, another rookie with the Cleveland Browns from Michigan. And that's really the notables for Michigan in the NFL currently. And there you have it from the Big Ten. All right. NFL Draft next weekend. We have covered it with Rick Saratella from the NFL Draft Bible. Check out those videos. A few have yet to be released. And of course, spring football always in play here at Mark Rogers TV. As long as they're on the field for their 15 sessions, we've got another batch of games coming up on Saturday. We will get to as many as possible. We've got Stephen M. Smith of Touchdown Alabama in particular lined up to recap the Tide from Saturday. We appreciate you jumping on board, of course. This is your voice of college football, so please subscribe to Mark Rogers TV and leave your comments, your suggestions. I get back to as many as possible, and your suggestions are well heard and acted on in regards to content, topics you want to hear, and contributors you want to see on the channel. Stay tuned over the next several weeks for my releasing of my schedule formula, both non-conference and conference, and the fixing of college football when it comes to scheduling. And of course, our top 10 breakdowns at every position in college football. We try to get to as many top fives within every conference as we possibly can get to. And I really want to comb through the quarterback battles now that we've made our way almost all the way through spring practice, and go through those quarterback battles conference by conference, team by team, and give you a sense of where we feel that decision's going to be made in what direction coming up in August. Appreciate you jumping on, and enjoy the videos. And again, leave your suggestions. We love the discussion and the debate right here at Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football.